Well, President Biden making the case his economic agenda is giving more of a boost to Republican states than Democratic ones. Here with how this is all shaking out for the president, let's bring in Yahoo Finance senior columnist Rick Newman. And Rick, we know the president has been out on the trail in red states, including South Carolina, making this case. What does the data actually show in terms of who's benefiting?
There is some good data on this from the Brookings Institution. And just to be clear, we're talking about private investment that is probably capitalizing on a lot of the tax breaks and other incentives that have been in some of this very significant legislation Biden has signed during the last couple of years. So Brookings finds that new factory announcements relating to things like semiconductors, green energy, electric vehicles, and so on are split about 50-50 between Republican and Democratic counties based on how they voted in 2020. But those Republican counties tend to be a lot more rural, and they only account for about 28% of GDP. So 28% of GDP, yet 50% of these new investment announcements, which means they are disproportionately benefiting from legislation that Biden signed that had very little support from Republicans or literally no support from Republicans. Which is, obviously very surprising. So Biden acknowledges this when he goes around and gives speeches at groundbreakings and things like that. He did it in a Republican district in South Carolina last week. At that event, he actually said he's planning to go to another groundbreaking in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district. She wants to impeach him. So Biden is going to show up in her district to brag about new investments that are happening because of legislation he signed that she voted against. So it's all very interesting. You scratch your head a little bit to figure out, does this mean anything for the 2024 election? Not sure. I don't think it's going to win Biden any Republican votes, though.
And Rick, we also have Congress back in D.C. this week reconvening with quite the to-do list, a very extensive to-do list. They don't have too much time to make some progress on the spending bills, which is going to be a top priority. What can we expect there?
Well, people probably are wondering, I thought we just got all this resolved when we got through the debt limit deal. We did not get it all resolved. So the debt limit deal was an agreement to suspend the borrowing limit with some agreements that there would be future limits on spending. What Congress has to do now is write all the spending bills for the fiscal year that begins on October 1st. So this is where a lot of the clashes are going to happen. There are major disagreements between Republicans who control the House and Democrats who control the Senate about what spending levels should be mainly for discretionary spending, which means roads and bridges, arts, foreign aid. It does not include defense, and it does not include Medicare and Social Security. But it looks as if there are going to be major fights because we got, Congress is split between the two parties and they don't agree on a lot of this. The upshot is we could end up with the government shutting down for some period of time starting October 1st. We've seen that before. That is not nearly as dire as if we would actually see a default on some Treasury debt. So I don't think markets are going to go too crazy over this. But it is going to be an irritant for sure, as Americans are looking at Washington, D.C. and saying, I thought we just got done with this fight. Why are they fighting all over again? Well, they are.
And something that we've come to expect from D.C. these days. All right, Rick Newman, great stuff. Thanks.
Bye, guys.